My name is Catherine Bench and I'm the Faculty Librarian for the South Wales Business School. I'm here on maternity cover until March 2022. In this video, we're going to be looking at effective searching skills for your dissertation and literature review. So, what will be covered in this video? We'll be looking at information sources that you might use to research and write up your dissertation, and we'll be looking at planning and structure when it comes to starting your search, particularly with literature reviews, which I'll talk about a little bit further on in this video. I'll also focus on searching and search strategy to help you find relevant articles and information that you can use in your work. So what's going to be covered in this video? Well, we'll be looking at information sources that you might use to research and write up your dissertation, and we'll be looking at planning and structure when it comes to starting your search, particularly with literature reviews, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. I'll also be looking at searching and search strategy to help you find relevant articles and information that you can use for your dissertation. We'll also look at searching and find it and how you can apply what we have and find it to searching on specific databases as well. And throughout this video, I hope you'll pause it at some point to practice what I've covered in this video and to see for yourself how you can use it in your work and in your dissertation. So the starting point is the library website. As you know, all of this is the gateway to all of our resources. If you need to access books, if you want to look for journals, or if you want to just find information about the library, go to the library webpage, because that is the first point of call, the first starting place for all of your library information. And to search, or actually go into, to look for books, to look for articles and journals and newspapers and much more, all of our library resources we have in Find It. This is like our search engine for everything that we have here. If you need a refresher on how to search for library resources, for finding books and journal articles, for looking for ebooks, check out our how-to videos on YouTube. You can scan this QR code and it should take you straight to the playlist of how-to videos. So, before starting your dissertation research, familiarise yourself with the different types of information resources available, not just inside the library, but online and externally on websites as well. If you need an overview of the different types of information sources we have here at USW, then check out this video, which was made last year, and it looks at all the different types of information resources we have. So it includes an overview of textbooks, academic trade journals, newspapers, official sources of information, grey literature, statistics. About 12 minutes long, and it doesn't cover things in great detail, but if you just want a sort of overview of what they are and how and where you can find them, then just watch it. So the general advice given when starting a dissertation is to plan it and break it down into manageable chunks. Don't try and find everything all at once. It's the same for when it comes to searching. Say I'm doing a dissertation on effective marketing tools for small businesses. I wouldn't want to try and find everything all at once. I would break it down into manageable chunks. I would think about how I want to approach the dissertation, what's the beginning, an overview of it. I would start looking at the middle bit. What do I want to write down? What themes do I want to tackle? I would just break it down into themes or chapters. So to do this, you could think of concepts. So marketing tools for small businesses, that could be word of mouth, it could be news media, it could be social media, and you need to think that's what I want to focus on for this stage of my research, and then you decide what you're going to use to help you find it. This is an image of a road, a long windy road with lots of different signposts pointing straight ahead, left or right. It's a symbolic image and it represents a dissertation journey. and for each stage you will need to find and search information from a range of resources. I personally think it looks a bit too smooth. My dissertation journey from many years ago would be littered with potholes and big explosions and danger signs. But generally, just so that you get the idea, that is what a dissertation journey is like. It's a long, windy road of discovery and showing your lecturer that you really, really have done a lot of work into this and that you have gained a really good level of knowledge. So you don't want to find everything related to the title of a dissertation all at once. Your dissertation is a big piece of work and you should know where to find the information that will help you research and present your work in a way that showcases your in-depth knowledge. And this means breaking it down and finding information for each stage of your dissertation journey. So if you look at the screen here, the start is an introduction. You want to explain the context or purpose of your dissertation. An overview looking at the history, theory or objective behind it. Maybe you would need to look at books or newspapers, market reports, even websites at this stage. In many dissertations, students have to do a literature review. This is an analysis of research that's already been done. I'll explain a little bit more about literature review later. So for this, students would have to use resources like Find It or our academic databases to bring up a lot of journal articles, a lot of research. These are research that's been published in journal articles to read, analyse and eventually to cite from, to use them in the bibliography that you'll have at the end of your dissertation. So each dissertation journey is different. So if you're not sure about the topic, you can't find anything, it could be you maybe not be searching, it could be related to your searching, it could be simply there's not much being done into it. So if that's the case, speak to your tutor for advice. It's important to know your information resources because it will help you recognise where you need to search. There's no point finding an overview of things in academic journals because academic journals assume that you have that prior knowledge anyway. It's better to sort of look for overview, context of things in books. So it really does help to know your information resources, to know exactly where to find. This is a table of information resources. It tells you what they are and where you're likely to find them. I'll make it available on the website, and if you need a personal copy, just email me or speak to your tutor. In many dissertations, students do a literature review and they need to look at the literature or research published in your area of study. It means reviewing and summarising what's already been done. It's analysing and comparing the research literature, and it looks at gaps in knowledge and makes suggestions for further research. And to do a literature review, you should be looking at academic sources of information. To find out more about literature reviews on a library website, scan this QR code. Academic sources of information can usually be found in articles published in academic journals. These articles can be found using a good search strategy in Find It or in our academic databases. Academic journals are also known as peer-reviewed journals or scholarly publications. They provide a platform for researchers to share and disseminate research and finding, and before they get published, they have to go through a vigorous checking process before they're accepted. Academic journals are published regularly. They're published on a monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly basis, sometimes even a yearly basis. And they cover a huge number of subjects, and they're often very subject specific, so you're going to find specific academic journals on things like taxation, finance, accounting, business management, leadership, supply chain, human resource. You guarantee that there's going to be an academic title on those subjects. This is a print journal, just so that you can visualise it better. Most journals are online, so you can search for them through Find It or any of our online databases. There's millions of articles to select from, so it's important you choose your words carefully. So let's look at search strategy. First of all, plan and be clear about what it is you want to find. As mentioned earlier, my dissertation is about marketing tools in small business, so I'm choosing to focus on the theme of social media. So when I've completed this search, I will move on and then do another search strategy that perhaps will find me information on small business marketing with word of mouth or small business marketing news media. But for now, I just want to focus on this on social media. So this is my search question. I want to do a literature review analysing the impact of using social media to promote small businesses. So what I need to do now, or I want you to do, is to pause this video and draw out 3 key words, the most important words from that statement, the words that will actually bring meaning to that statement. If you deleted them, you wouldn't really know what that statement was about or what you really needed to focus on. So 10 seconds. Okay, the keywords that I can draw from this is social media, because it's about social media, so that's what I really need to hone in on. It involves the promotion of small businesses, so I'm looking for small businesses promoting themselves using social media. A literature review is important. It's not the most important thing, but it's important because it tells me what I need to look in. So I'm not going to be looking at newspaper reports or actual social media examples. I'm looking for research literature, a literature review that will help me, that has been done into this subject already and has analysed the impacts that social media has had on promoting small businesses. So that's what I want, that's what it's telling me to look in. Pause this video for a quick exercise. Can you think of alternative words to use for the phrases I've identified? I read them on the screen. Small businesses, promote, social media. What I want you to do is to think of alternative words and phrases. If you use a thesaurus, you can go on the internet. Just spend a few moments just thinking of other words that you can use to describe the words that I've drawn out as keywords here. List of alternative words for the following keywords. For small businesses, alternative terms include SMEs, entrepreneurs and sole traders. For the keyword promote, my alternative words are marketing, advertising, branding. And for the keyword social media, my alternative words are the social media platforms including Twitter and Facebook. Is there anything that you've missed or anything that you can add to that I've missed? So this is why it's important not to stick to the same words all the time. One person's word for business is another person's word for enterprise. So by drawing out a list of alternative words or phrases to search with, you're widening your chances of catching relevant and useful articles and information. So whether you search and find it, as shown here, or in one of our databases, you can do a basic search with 1 line or advanced search with several lines. They both have the same purpose, to search and bring up a list of resources that contain the words that you've put in them. So for example, when searching for Harry Potter films on the internet, most people add film to their search to bring up information about the movies. So if I just typed in organisations, what do you think would happen? That's right, it would get you loads and loads of results. Articles with organisation in them is huge, and look at the content, how they're about similar things. Like most subjects, the word organisation is connected to many topics. You can see here it connected to health, it connected to public organisations, connected to charity, military, business, employers, organisational behaviour, girl guiding. They all relate to organisations. And if you draw up the list of results, just organisations in them, it would just be meaningless. So we use and as a way of connecting one term with another. and it tells the database or find it to look for articles with both of those terms in and get rid of everything else that doesn't have both of those terms in. So if I add organisation to behaviour, and what it would do, it would bring up articles with organisations and behaviour in them, and all the other articles that might have organisations or behaviour in them but not together will be filtered out. So I'm searching for organisations, and you can see from my list of results there is over 10.5 million, and if you look closely at the articles you can see that they're about all sorts of things. So I add behaviour to organisations in my search, and the results are nearly 3 million. It's still a lot, but it has filtered out a lot of articles. So you can keep adding terms to your search, and it would look for all articles with all of those words in. It's not perfect. You still have a lot of results to wade through. In advanced search, where you get more than one search line, you can use the AND connector to add another term. Here I've combined organisations with Girl Guiding using AND. You can also combine synonyms. That is different words that mean similar things, and you combine words that are similar in meaning or concept. You can use or. So as I mentioned earlier, one person's word for enterprise might be another person's word for business, but you don't have to separate searches. You don't have to do one search with organisation behaviour and business, and then a separate search with organisation behaviour and enterprise. You can actually search for both of those terms together by using OR. So you use OR to search for both terms, even if they don't appear in the same article. So to explain this advanced search feature in Find It and in many of our other databases where there are several search box lines as shown here, it's just a way of being able to combine your terms more effectively, to have more tools and functions to be able to do that in a way that gives you a bit more flexibility. So here, I think I find it easiest to approach it as concepts rather than words. So if you think of it as a concept, if you think as organisation as being one concept and then behaviour as being a completely different concept, that you can use and just combine those different concepts together and filter out all of those articles that don't have both of those concepts together. But equally, if you think of the same words that are basically the same thing, that are about the same concept, for example, it's shown here, it's work-based or workplace. They are basically words that mean the same thing. They are about the same thing, therefore they're the same concept. So I can search for them together on one line using OR. So OR could be used for one concept, but it would just bring up words that are on that side, on that concept. And that's how you can approach advanced searching, and it does give you more flexibility in how you can combine and use words together to bring up relevant results. And here's a couple of searching tips that you can use. You can use something called a phrase search, which is quotation marks around some words or phrase, like clinical practice, business plan, or strategic leadership. What these do is to keep words together and see them as one word rather than different words scattered across an article. So if you were to put clinical practice in quotation marks, then it would bring up articles with clinical practice together rather than clinical in one part of the article and practice in the other. There's also translation, which is also really useful. You can put a star at the end of a word stem, so words that start off with the same spelling but finish differently. You can press Shift and 8 and add a star to the end of that word stem. So if I were to put a star after nurse, the N-U-R-S, it would bring up nurses, nursing and nursed in my search results. And same thing with sustainability in practice. I could put a star after sustain and it would bring up sustainability, sustainable, sustained. So when you do a search, when you've done the search that you've just done, you may find that the list of results you're getting are still a lot to go through. They might feel like a pile of Lego just thrown across the floor and none of it really makes much sense. And what you can do to bring the list of results down further to make them more relevant is to refine them. Relevant results will be easier to find if you also use the filter my results after you've done a search. And in many of our other databases, this is also known as refining your search or refining your criteria. The one we have here is refined it, but you'll see if you look at many of the other databases we have, there are similar features that you can use. So have a go. You can also refine and filter by dates. You can filter by subjects, and this is particularly useful because you could do a search and if you can draw a list of subjects, if you click on more to choose more than one of them, if you draw up a list of subjects, you can select maybe a couple of subject headings or subject descriptors that will make your search even more relevant. And you can also choose by type of book, article, journals, and there's also collections, author, language, and some of our databases you can narrow down by location or geography too.
And this is the advanced search using the connectors that I've mentioned in this video. So enterprise or business, marketing or promotion, and social media, and all of those concepts are combined with and. I can filter my results by date. I can narrow it down to something more recent, say in the last 5 years, and then click on refine. When results have been reduced considerably, I can reduce them further by choosing type of document, peer-reviewed journals, and also a couple of subjects. After applying filters, the number of results have reduced to 4,000.
The library website is the main place to go if you need more information and support, and you can check our library subject guides as well. If you're doing something like marketing or you're doing something like human resources, you may also want to look at some of our other subject guides that crosses over into psychology or finance, or it crosses over into other subject areas like health. If you're interested in sort of health and leadership, then use those subject guides as well. If I scroll down the screen, to the bottom of the screen, you can see the Study Skills website and the link to the Study Skills. So if I click on that site here, it will take you to the Study Skills site. It's an excellent source of information, self-help and support, and they also have contact details and appointments with workshop and events that you can book yourself onto. So have a look at this as well if you need more information about actual writing, academic structure and referencing. I wish you the very best. Please get in touch if you need any help with finding library resources. I'm here until March 2022, and afterwards my colleague Larry Williams will be returning from maternity leave. If you need information, if you want to contact us for an appointment, then you can book an appointment online through the library webpage, or you can email me. My email address is catherine.finch@southwales.uk.